State, Your Excellency, the former Governor and DG of Divine Mandate, retired Air Commodore the chairman of a great party and chairman of PDP Akwa Ibom State, distinguished senators in our presence, members of the National Assembly, Deputy Speaker, honorable members of Akwa Ibom Assembly, clerk of the House, all the former speakers duly acknowledged, head of the civil service, honorable commissioners, special advisors, former ministers, stakeholders, leaders, permanent secretaries, heads of extraministerial departments, senior citizens, not specifically mentioned, chairmen of councils, led by the Udom chairman, management and staff of the Akwa Ibom Assembly. Let me especially recognize chairmen of boards and commissions, especially the chairman of the Assembly Commission, representative of sociocultural groups and organizations, representative of the corporate world, labor leaders, specially invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Let me crave your indulgence before I present to you our estimates for the fiscal year 2020. To start first by congratulating God alone deserves all the praise for his mercies and kindness towards all of us and to us as he said. True to his word, he never abandoned us before the election. He answered our fervent prayers and supplications. To him alone we ascribe all the glory, honor, and praise. I can only say, only God. I'm not unaware that we are still in litigation process, but the fact remains that the people of Akwa Ibom State spoke loudly and overwhelmingly on March the 9th and reaffirmed their promise in the Akwa Ibom project, superintended by me, your servant leader. Therefore, our light of progress and development, peace and tranquility will continue to shine even brighter by the day, illuminating the contours of disunity and hatred in our land with the aroma of love, togetherness, and brotherhood. God, who gave us the victory, will defend his victory. We know that champions do not dwell on past victories. They look forward to new challenges. They seek out new mountains to scale. Champions seek new ways to expand their horizons and deepen their perspectives. The new challenge facing all of us now is sustaining and deepening the confidence which our people have reposed in us. And I dare say that so far we haven't betrayed the confidence, even though there's more work to be done. And that's why we are here today. Distinguished compatriots, some see leadership as an epic poem with rhythm and metaphor. But I see leadership as a journey through the mountains and valleys, seas and rivers, highways and boulevards. But the defining virtue of a good leader is that he has the attitude of Jesus Christ, who for the joy that was set before him endured cross, despising the shame. For the joy of saving our people, we must endure every cross of difficulties, blackmail, mischief. We must despise every shame. We must endure insults and manufactured lies and subterfuge. But we must remain faithful and true to our only God. And our people, in providing honest and selfless service to advance their cause, that to me is the true calling and defining ingredient of leadership. And to this, I subscribe. Therefore, as we bind and heal the wounds of the election and invoke the Pan-Akwa Ibom spirit, let us rise above the sleaze that are daily being thrown into the media space by a tiny percentage of our nurturing nabobs of negativism. To quote the words of former U.S. Vice President Spiro Agnew, and purge our hearts of hatred and animus. Let us continue to develop ourselves in brotherly love. Let us knit whatever differences we may entertain in a guild of unity, and infuse in the consciousness of our people a conviction that Akwa Ibom's story has symphonies of higher ideals than the drumbeats of our personal desires. My Right Honorable Speaker, let me congratulate you again on the mantle of leadership given to you and your principal officers to lead the 7th Assembly. The ancient Italian proverb has it that the right man comes at the right season. You and the crop of leaders we have in this house today have the answers to the challenges of today, and you have come at the right season to deepen the partnership between this hallowed chamber and the executive arm, and probably the judiciary. The right time for us to lift our state and people to a new level of glory and prominence is now. And I know you have bought into the fierce urgency of this moment. To the good people of Akwa Ibom State, who stood by us, believed in us, and eventually elected and re-elected us, I say thank you very much. And may the good Lord bless you all. Please be rest assured that we will keep to our campaign promises to the best of our abilities and resources made available to us. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, the Constitution requires that the executive and the legislative arms should liaise and collaborate to provide an effective and efficient roadmap for development every single year. To fulfill this great responsibility, it is my honor to present for your kind consideration the year 2020 budget and fiscal estimates. In the last 4 years, we, by the grace of God, have recorded tremendous achievements in all facets of our lives and made life more meaningful and worth living for our people. This we did despite the excruciating economic situation that confronted us. Mr. Speaker, permit me to now share with this hallowed chamber the vision, policies, programs, and projects of our administration, and to present for your kind consideration and approval the estimates of revenues and expenditure of Akwa Ibom State Government for 2020 fiscal year in accordance with the provision of Section 121, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution. The year 2020 budget is predicated on the 8-point agenda that forms the policy thrust of my completion: industrialization, aviation development, security, infrastructure, small and medium-scale enterprises, human capacity development, agriculture, and rural and riverine area development. These 8-point policy trusts rest squarely on the initial 5-point agenda that shaped my first term in office, to wit: job creation, poverty alleviation, wealth creation, economic and political inclusion, and infrastructural consolidation and expansion for continuous transformation of state into an industrialized entity. Review of the performance of 2019 budget. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, permit me to start with a review of the 2019 budget. A total of 672.984 billion naira was approved for 2019 fiscal year, made up as follows: recurrent expenditure 97.396 billion, capital expenditure 447.903 billion, consolidated revenue fund charges 127.686 billion. Total 672.985 billion. As at August 2019, the actual recurrent revenue collected was only 190.66 billion. This was 51% of the budgeted amount. A breakdown of recurrent revenue shows that internally generated revenue, 24.875 billion, statutory allocation, 26.955 billion, value added tax, 8.843 billion, derivation, 129.987 billion, total 190.660 billion. In reappraising expenditure, a total of 74.692 billion was spent on recurrent services, which include personnel cost, 26.410 billion, overhead cost, 14.330 billion, consolidated revenue, fund charges, 33.952 billion, total 74.692 billion. Operating within the framework of the approved budget and the limits of available resources, we were able to record remarkable achievements in our industrialization drive. We have consolidated gains of democratic governance and expanded the frontiers of development across all sectors. In line with our campaign promises, in the first 4 years of this administration, in spite of the harsh economic realities we encountered, we remain steady, focused, and passionate in our tireless and wholesome devotion to delivering solid democratic dividends to our people. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to reiterate that we came prepared to succeed, to secure our future based on the strength and promise of our blessed state, and the goodness of heart and ingenuity of our people. Together, we have done this in a spectacular fashion. We have won accolades and commendations all over the nation and beyond. Where others saw despair, we saw hope. Where others saw challenges, we saw opportunities. Where others were bent by the enormity of problems they faced, we stood ramrod straight, shoulders high, and provided solutions to ease the pains of our people. It is only through the grace of our only God and His abiding faith in our collective enterprise that we had achieved the following, amongst others, in my first term in office. We've done close to and above 1,000 kilometers of roads, including 40 bridges, have either been commissioned or at various stages of completion in 3 senatorial districts in the state. So far in this part of the world, today within Uyo capital city. Renovation of 85 flats at Wellington Bassey Army Barracks for junior staff of the Nigerian Army. Eket urban remodeling ongoing. Ongoing construction of a befitting international worship center for the state and the only state named after God Almighty. Construction of a flyover at Ekomiman Junction has commenced. Construction of ring roads, both phases 2 and 3, linking Akar Road, Oron Road, Maniba roads by University of Uyo permanent site is ongoing. Construction of a befitting Traditional Rulers Council chamber has commenced. Reactivation and provision of most streets around Uyo, especially along our airport roads and other metropolis, in addition to other beautification projects. Education. Recently, we had our first education summit where critical issues affecting the sector were addressed and solutions profiled. We remain dedicated to ensuring that our children are prepared and made ready for the challenges of the 21st century world. To achieve this, we will continue to maintain free and compulsory basic education in public schools, including payment of subventions and grants to those schools. We have already taken over 17 community secondary schools, strategic intervention of 10 number computer laboratories in 10 different federal constituencies with internet facilities in these schools, facilitated the establishment of Command Secondary School. Actually, it's a science school. This government facilitated the commencement
the establishment and commencement of that school in Efa, 18 and local government, Nigerian Navy Military School in Ikontwen, Ekparakwa, Oruganam local government. Provision of modular classrooms as a test case to solve the problems of expansion in our own secondary schools for now. Upgrading of Akwa Ibom State College of Art and Science, Nongomikono, to a higher level of School of Technology. Upgrade of the College of Education, Akwa Ibom State, to also offer degree programs and also as a degree awarding institution. Every year, in the past 4 years, we pay well over 600 million naira as WAEC fees for indigents of this state in order to be able to write the West African School Certificate Examination. Industrialization. Well over 16 industries have been established within the last 4 years. Most are fully operational, while others are at various stages. Permit me to list some of them. The syringe manufacturing factory, the largest in Africa, is in full operations. King's Flour Mill, fully operational and recently commissioned by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo, SAN, GCON. Plywood and Timber Making Factory, fully operational and also recently commissioned by the Vice President. The Electric Digital Metering Solutions is in full operation. The pencil factory and toothpick factories are in full operation. Rice mill and cassava processing mills across the state, especially cassava processing mills. Our target is to have at least one in each federal constituency. The fish processing mills at a low and medium scale level across the fishing communities. Ibom Deep Sea Port ongoing and being vigorously pursued. Resuscitation of peacock paint industry. Coconut refinery, work currently ongoing. A plastic manufacturing factory has been commissioned and is in full operation. Aki's mini industrial park had been established and ongoing small and medium scale industries are being set up. And by 18th of October, a new line that will manufacture tissue paper for domestic consumption within the state of a very high quality will be in for installation. The fertilizer blending factory has been commissioned and is in full operations. The only fertilizer blending plant in this region of the country, as at today, blending for the entire South region. Ibom Deep Sea Port Development. The activities and regulatory processes towards the development of the deep sea port is ongoing. And with God on our side, the Ibom Deep Sea Port will be operational within the lifespan of this administration. Manpower development and workers' welfare. Our strides in this area include payment of outstanding pensions, and we are gradually trying to make sure that we erode all the outstanding gratuities to retired workers. Regular and prompt payment of salaries and entitlement to public servants, even when we've not received statutory allocation. Release of backlog of promotion is ongoing. Implementation of immediate switchover from salary payroll to pension payroll for retirees. Appointment of various permanent secretaries between 2016 and 2019. Training of public servants for effective service delivery, especially our medical officers. Recruitment so far, as at today, we've hired 5,800 teachers into the education sector, primary and secondary, and more are still undergoing interviews, including Polytechnic, College of Education, as well as into other critical areas of education. Agriculture. With respect to agriculture, we have embarked on the development of over 11,000 hectares of coconut plantation. We have cultivated over 1,600 hectares of cassava plantation in 15 local government areas. We have registered 4,920 rice farmers in the state. We have trained 450 youths on cocoa maintenance. We have provided subsidized fertilizers, oil palm and cocoa seedlings. Aqua Palm Hatchery is producing 10,000 day-old chicks weekly. We have given free improved corn seedlings to farmers. We have cultivated various vegetables in greenhouses for commercial use. We have cultivated over 100 hectares of rice through Udom Agri-Crown project, which is also running. And as at now, we are expanding that to 500 hectares as still a test case on the quality of rice and what we need to do on a larger scale. We have cultivated about 2,100 hectares of cassava, this one separately in partnership under the World Bank Fadama 3 scheme. We have commenced the construction of 33 number cassava micro-processing mills across the state, 33 in number. We have commenced the training of 300 youths under the Graduate Unemployment Youth Scheme. We have constructed 1 number tractor hiring enterprise center with 4 number tractors and 14 number implements delivered. Suffice it to say that so far, 75 hectares of farmland have been plowed, harrowed, and rigged through this center. These are left for individual farmers, even those who are on small scale, to hire. That has nothing to do with what government, on its own part, had actually deployed to different farmlands and different cash crops that we're actually planting. Still on agriculture, we have refurbished cassava processing factories located at Udom, Eke local government, Numudo, Ibesikpo Sut and local government, Ikorekang in Abak, and leased them to private operators for the operation and production of high quality gari, odorless fufu, and cassava flour. These have helped crash the price of gari from about 3 cups for 200 naira to current situation where the same 200 naira will fetch you between 9 and 12 cups, depending on the market you're operating from. We have procured 600,000 bags of fertilizer to farmers to actually supplement what the farmers could afford. We have also planted 500 citrus seedlings, 600 hybrid plantain suckers, and 1,000 pineapple suckers at the Horticulture Garden, Wellington Basin Way in Uyo. This is actually to aid research into these different crops. We're actually embarking on aggressive research on those staple foods that we eat here. Aviation development. I am pleased to report the following milestones in aviation development. Construction of taxiway at Victor Otai International Airport. Full upgrading of airfield lighting system at the Victor Otai International Airport. Incorporation of Ibom Airline, the first ever wholly owned state airline in this country, and I stand to be corrected, probably the first owned by state government in Africa, with 3 aircrafts currently in full operation. As of today, Akwa Ibom, specifically Uyo as a state capital, is the easiest state capital to be accessed when you are either in Abuja or Lagos. And as of today, we run Abuja, Uyo, Lagos, Abuja, with more routes to actually commence before the end of the year. Remodeling and departure hall at the Victor Otai International Airport. Construction of the airport security perimeter fence. Construction of the airport executive hangar. Rural development. On rural development, we have achieved the following strides. Over 300 rural development projects across the 31 local government areas of our state. Construction of over 400 interministerial rural intervention projects, especially including boreholes, primary health care, and the rest. Rehabilitated and constructed over 500-kilometer rural feeder roads. Work is still in progress on some of these rural feeder roads because of agriculture. Health care delivery services. Free medical services for children below 5 years, pregnant women, and the aged. Over 36 containers of state-of-the-art medical equipment have been procured and are being delivered to health institutions across the state, especially secondary healthcare delivery system. Construction and upgrading of secondary healthcare facilities across the state. Reconstruction and equipping of General Hospital in Etinan. Reconstruction and commissioning of Itumbang General Hospital. Reconstruction and commissioning of Ikono General Hospital. Reconstruction and commissioning of General Hospital at Equita Oran. Works are ongoing at various other hospitals, but we've also reconstructed Ikorokoro General Hospital. Some of these hospitals, if not all, are fully digitized with advanced health information management systems so that information about patients can actually be shared across these general hospitals in the state. Work currently ongoing at the remodeling of Emmanuel Hospital, Eket. Relief of over 4,000 malnourished children, free screening and treatment of over 15,000 people for various eye diseases undertaken by Her Excellency's PET project, FEREP. Training of 20 biomedical engineers. Provision of residential quarters for 48 house officers in state hospitals and 50 in the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital. Accreditation of School of Nursing with 272 registered nurses. Engagement of new management team at Ibom Specialist Hospital and re-equipping of that hospital. The dialysis center and various other centers are being equipped. I might also let you know that we've just currently completed the actual roofing of that place in order to make it so that it can actually be habitable for the quality of equipment that we are putting in that place. Training and certification of 100 doctors and nurses in basic life support and advanced cardiac life support machines for use in emergency response, now fitted in all ambulances that we have in the state. Youth empowerment and capacity building. Over 20,000 youths have been trained in various skills. Ongoing construction of 10 modern sports centers across the state for youths to actually display their skills and God-given talent in the area of sports and social development. Complete reconstruction of Eket Sports Stadium. 2 billion naira interest-free loan for small-scale entrepreneurs and traders. Successful organization of the first and second Akwa Ibom State Youth Sports Festival. Dakada Football Club, formerly Akwa Starlets, promoted to Premier League, making Akwa Ibom State one of the few states with 2 Premier League teams in this country. Through sound planning and management, Akwa Ibom has become the football capital of Nigeria. We hosted the Super Eagles to become the first African team to qualify for Russia 2018 World Cup. We also played host to Atletico Madrid Football Club in an international friendly match with the Super Eagles. Akwa United won the Nigerian Federation Cup twice in 3 years of this administration. Ibom Angels emerged runners-up in the 2017 Nigeria Female FA Cup, the first time a female team from Akwa Ibom State has ever qualified for the finals of a major national competition. Team Akwa Ibom finished second on the medal table at 2017 National Sports Festival. Akwa Ibom has so far received 3 excellence awards on sports development from the federal government. Promotion and sponsorship of 4 state football teams, namely Akwa United, Akwa Starlet, Ibom Angels, and Ibom Youth Football Clubs. Social welfare and pet project of Her Excellency FEREP. Under social welfare and FEREP interventions, we have achieved the following milestones. Care for over 800 orphans and less privileged children in the 5 government homes, namely Special Children Home, Uyo, Divine Children's Home, Uyo, Correctional Center, Uyo, Shelter Africa Transitional Camp, Uyo, and Government Children's Home, Ikorekbene. Provision of 200,000 naira grant each for about 500 women organizations across the 31 local government areas to enable them leverage on the public partnership initiative of the state government. Provision of grants each and wrappers for about 600 widows across 31 local government areas to boost their business and alleviate poverty amongst the widows. Provision of 50,000 each and wrappers as well as food items for about 350 mothers with multiple beds across 31 local government areas in collaboration with the Office of the First Lady, my wife, Her Excellency, Mrs. Martha Udom Emmanuel. We have implemented child rights law and prosecution of child's rights offenders in collaboration with the Akwa Ibom State Judiciary and Ministry of Justice, Security Services, Police, and others. The cases include child abuse, child neglect, child abandonment, and trafficking, maternal and paternal issues, rape cases, baby factory operation, and disinheritance. Over 200 cases have been recorded since 29 May 2015. About 120 have been adjudicated, and some of the malefactors are serving their jail terms. Yearly evacuation, rehabilitation, and reintegration of mentally challenged people. Sensitization, campaign against child abuse, child trafficking, child abandonment, and baby factory in the state. Donation of over businesses in development of trade the land. Sponsorship of 155 widows into Jerusalem pilgrimage, led by Her Excellency my wife, Mrs. Martha Udom Emmanuel. Donations of various forms, wrappers, clothes to over 4,000 market women. In addition, under the Widows Empowerment Scheme, financial empowerment to widows registered with the Ministry of Social Development and Women Affairs. My dear wife, Her Excellency Mrs. Martha Udom Emmanuel's signature, PET project, Family Empowerment and Youth Reorientation Program, FEREP, has carried out free screening and treatment of over 15,000 people with various eye diseases. FEREP has touched many lives, especially widows, many of whom have had houses built and donated to them. Culture and tourism. The state's tourism logo is themed Amazing Akwa Ibom, the preferred destination. It was launched in 2017 with the aim of boosting tourism in the state. We also hosted the first outstanding art exhibition since the creation of this state, titled Usoro Uso. With the reconstitution of the Hotels and Tourism Board, we hope to further develop our tourism potentials and market our state as a tourist destination. This is part of our diversification agenda. Besides the aforementioned, we have worked hard to utilize whatever revenue we have received to impact the lives of the people and create enduring infrastructural amenities. These amenities were key points in our 5-point agenda. Our capital budget expenditure are described in detail in the budget implementation report, which has been prepared to facilitate our consideration of the draft 2020 budget. Now, the 2020 budget estimate. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, the 2020 budget is prepared in accordance with the International Public Sector Accounting Standard, IPSAS, Accra template. It is a comprehensive IPSAS package that classifies transactions into revenue, expenditure, assets, and liabilities. Thus, it aids effective and efficient financial analysis. Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members, considering the fact that my completion agenda is predicated primarily on the rapid industrialization of this state, we have christened the 2020 budget the Budget of Industrialization for Poverty Alleviation Phase 2. The 2019 budget was named the Budget of Industrialization for Poverty Alleviation. That was Phase 1. It was so named because the state has started witnessing major breakthroughs in industrialization through construction and commissioning of some industries that are currently in full operations or ongoing. We also attracted more foreign direct investment, boosted the fortunes of our people, and improved employment opportunities. This budget of industrialization for poverty alleviation Phase 2 reflects further this government's resolve to build more industries, attract more foreign direct investment, while ensuring the consolidation and sustenance of our already actualized and ongoing socio-economic programs in health, education, roads, electricity, water supply, agriculture, information technology, capacity building, infrastructure, housing, commerce and industry, aviation, general administration, political prosperity and security, legislature and judiciary. A lot has been put in place. In terms of infrastructure, already we need to do more. Our belief and conviction is that through industrialization, the fortunes of our people will be greatly improved and employment opportunities will be abound for all people, thus raising their standard of living. Policy trust and objectives. The policy trust of 2020 budget, the first in the second term of this administration, will be to continue to gradually metamorphose Akwa Ibom State from a civil service state to a largely private sector driven state,
depending less on statutory allocation as the main source of revenue to the state. This will be achieved by creating more job opportunities through opening up the state to encourage private investment, creating a welcoming environment for investors, strengthening existing industries, and establishing new ones, as well as improving our IGR processes and drive. It is expected that these, as well as the provision of basic infrastructure, enhancement of security, development of human capital, and boosting services in education and healthcare will lead to an overall improvement in living standard of our people. The 2020 budget will also serve as a starting point in the actualization of government's completion agenda, industrialization, aviation development, rural and riverine areas development, agriculture, human capacity development, security, infrastructure, and promotion of small and medium-scale enterprises. This budget will properly link all 8 prongs in order to bring about a coordinated and sustainable development with multiplier effects on economic growth, employment generation, and wealth creation, which will in turn lead to economic stability and social cohesion. The policy objectives of the 2020 budget include, but not limited to, 1. To continue to promote trade, commerce, and tourism between the state and the rest of the world. This will be done by encouraging and sustaining small and medium-scale enterprises through the development of an efficient and sustainable microcredit framework as part of wealth creation and employment generation strategies. 2. To employ ICT, science and technology as a tool for employment generation and wealth creation. 3. To reduce morbidity and mortality from communicable and non-communicable diseases, thereby guaranteeing a healthy populace. This will be realized through our continuous efforts in the rehabilitation of our health institutions and provision of additional healthcare facilities and services. 4. To sustain the implementation of the government policy of free and compulsory qualitative education through the expansion of facilities to cope with increased school enrollment and the provision of teaching aids in public, primary, and secondary schools, as well as reviewing our curriculum in order to generate employment, to include entrepreneurship, so that our people will not only come out to look for jobs, but they can also come out to create jobs. To ensure the availability of durable and affordable shelter for the indigenes of the state through the development of low-cost housing estates in the state. To increase the internally generated revenue of the state by expanding and diversifying the state's resource base. To aggressively pursue the development of other internal revenue generating sources in the state maritime, coastal and inland waterways, harnessing revenue on landed properties and others. To continue to work on the construction of Ibom Deep Seaport and expansion of Ibom Industrial City to complement government efforts in the creation of enduring structures for employment generation, wealth creation, and increased IGR. To complete the cargo and maintenance, repairs and overhaul facility MRO at Victor International Airport as a way of pursuing increased foreign exchange revenue from airplane maintenance and other aviation services. We'll also pursue vigorously the oil and gas free trade zone in Ikorobasi. This will also add a lot of foreign direct investment within that region. This is almost at the stage of the license being issued. That will be vigorously pursued, and we are hopeful that between now and first quarter of 2020, the license will have been acquired that will cover a minimum of 50,000 hectares of land within the Ikorobasi Federal Constituency. To expand and acquire additional aircraft for Ibom Air to further increase the ease of traveling in and around the state, thus encouraging more investment and tourists to Akwa Ibom State. To improve agricultural output and ensure food sufficiency through the supply of improved agricultural inputs, credit, and extension services. To pursue public-private partnership investment strategy in order to enhance the revolutionary efforts in agriculture and industry. To promote youth and women empowerment, as well as the protection of children
and other vulnerable groups in the society. 14. To ensure security of lives and property and create a peaceful and safe society through the provision of effective security network in the state. 15. To ensure accountability and transparency and the enthronement of best practices in all areas of governance as an enduring standard of public sector administration. 16. To develop the rural areas to enable the dividends of democratic government to be felt in every part of the state and also reduce the burden of population drift stroke exclusion in urban centers. 17. To maintain a good working relationship between the executive, legislature, and judiciary arms of the state government and also ensure grassroots development and empowerment through the establishment of effective local government administration system. 18. To maintain the existing cordial relationship between the central government in order to attract federal presence in the state. 19. To unify the state as well as ensure due respect for the traditional institutions and elders in the society in order to attain peace and prosperity in the state and also give all Akwa Ibom, both within and in the diaspora, a sense of belonging. Our implementation strategies. To realize the above objectives, the following strategies and measures enough goods and services for domestic use as well as for export. 4. Set up new industries and maintain existing ones in the agro-industrial, information technology, as well as oil and gas subsectors. 5. Improving on IGR by eliminating evasion in payment, wastages and leakages in collection and expenditure, and developing tourism potentials. 6. Stimulate the agricultural and agro-light industries to boost production of local farmers to ensure food sufficiency for local consumption, exports as well as the provision of raw materials for the industries. 7. Prioritize the completion of all ongoing projects in the state. 8. Expand and improve infrastructure and services in healthcare delivery and primary and secondary healthcare delivery system. 9. Improve service delivery in the educational sector with emphasis on science and technology as well as information and communication technology. 10. Empower women and youth through capacity building, skill acquisition, and elimination of gender discrimination practices. 11. Enforce child protection laws and create a conducive society for the Akwa Ibom child to flourish and realize his or her potentials. 12. Enhance delivery of qualitative and prompt service by public servants. 13. Ensure enforcement of peace, law, and order by building an efficient and proactive security network to make the state conducive to live and invest in. 14. Provide recreational and sporting facilities to increase life expectancy, boost sports development, and ensure improved performance of the state representatives at local, national, and international sporting competitions. By extension, this activity will also create employment, generate wealth, and reduce poverty among the youth. 15. We will continue, as launched by the Vice President, to pursue aggressively Power for All projects by end of 2021. Highlights of 2020 budget. The 2020 budget is predicated on an oil benchmark of $55 per barrel at a production rate of a little above 2 million barrels per day, hoping that OPEC will not cut our production. With an estimated exchange rate currently quoted from CBN at 305 naira to $1 in line with national budget benchmark projections. Our budget size. Government has proposed a total budgetary outlay of 597.8 billion naira for 2020 fiscal and financial year as against approved provision of 672.985 billion in 2019. This is made up of recurrent expenditure 111.225 billion, capital expenditure 369.642 billion, Consolidated revenue fund charges 116.933 billion, total 597.8 billion naira. Revenue. The total projected recurrent revenue for 2020 budget is estimated at 381.556 billion, as against the approved provision of 374.758 billion for 2019. The breakdown is as follows. Internally generated revenue 52.556 billion, statutory allocation 52 billion, derivation 255 billion, retained revenue from parastatals 2 billion, value added tax 20 billion, total 381.556 billion. Recurrent expenditure. For the 2020 fiscal year, recurrent expenditure is proposed at 228.158 billion, made up as follows. Personnel cost 60.942 billion. Overhead cost 50.283 billion. Consolidated revenue fund charges, including pensions, gratuities, and public debts, totaling 228.158 billion. Capital expenditure. The total capital receipts and expenditure for 2020 is estimated at 369.642 billion, as against the approved provision of 447.903 billion in 2019. Our total projected capital receipts shows that 153.398 billion will be transferred from the consolidated revenue fund, while the balance of 216.244 billion is to be realized as follows. Opening balance from 2019 accounts 9.944 billion. Internal and external loans 35.3 billion. Grants 50 billion. Ecological funds 20 billion. Reimbursement from federal government on infrastructure development 50 billion. Investment income 1 billion. Refunds from excess loan deduction and exceptional income, especially exceptional income 50 billion. Sectoral allocation. The sectoral allocation of the total estimated capital expenditure outlay of 369.642 billion for the year 2020 is presented as follows. Administration 102.007, representing 27.6%. Economic 237.6 billion naira, representing 64.3%. Law and justice 2.645 billion, representing 0.7%. Regional 700 million naira, representing 0.2%. Social, that's including educational sector, 26.67 billion, representing 7.2%. Analysis of sectoral allocation above shows that priority is given to projects and programs under economic and educational sectors. Administration sector. The public and civil service stands as the pivot upon which the government activities and business revolve to give the people the dividends of good governance. That's where it rests. Without a prudent and smart working civil service, the objectives and goals of government for the people cannot be achieved. Therefore, an effective and efficient civil service machinery is quite necessary through the strategic recruitment, training, and retraining of civil servants. We desire to orient our civil servants with current and effective global best practices and thereby increase their productivity through motivation. Motivation in turn will boost optimum productivity in the administrative sector. To meet this need, the sum of 102.077 billion is earmarked in the 2020 budget. Economic sector. Socioeconomic growth depends on well mapped out, planned and implemented strategies. We will continue to provide and improve on infrastructures with a view to boosting the revenue generation capacity for both the state and the people through viable agricultural, maintaining established industries and building new ones, encouraging small and medium-scale enterprises, ensure steady power supply through our Power for All 2021. For this development and capital projects, the sum of 244.174 billion is earmarked. Law and justice sector. It is the role of government to make and implement laws to create conducive and enabling environment to secure and protect lives and prosperity, foster the growth of businesses. Therefore, government will continue to maintain peace
law and order, and justice with utmost sense of responsibility. Every applicable law will be used to dispense justice to and enforce the constitutional rights of both government and the governed. Public enlightenment on the different law issues as they affect the citizenry will be impacted on. A total of 2.649 billion has been budgeted for law and justice. Regional sector. Government is always concerned about the welfare of the people in the rural areas. Hence, we will ensure that the well-being of our people in our rural areas is made meaningful through rural electrification, rehabilitation, and maintenance of rural farm and feeder roads, training of slippery hills, tarring of those slippery hills, provision of mini water streams, renovation of community schools and many community empowerment and poverty alleviation programs. We have been on course, and this administration will continue to do its best to ensure that more of such services are executed and sustained. This sector will guard the sum of 0.7 billion for the actualization of this project. Social sector. Social services endear the government to the people. It will, therefore, receive due consideration and be improved upon. These areas will also enjoy our attention: healthcare, education, sports, information technology, women development, youth empowerment, children and aged persons, our traditional institutions and environment. We are looking forward to having a well-informed, educated, and healthy people operating within a well-ordered and aesthetically welcoming environment for high performance and lifespan. To this end, the sum of 20.116 billion has been estimated for this social subsector. General Charter of the 2020 budget. In the next 4 years, this administration will intensify efforts and focus in providing a high performance in the industrialization goals. We have started in my first term in office. We hope to make Akwa Ibom State an industrial hub in this country. In this regard, more energy and figure will be given to small and medium-scale enterprises to act as drivers of our viable economy. We will make sure adequate and sufficient modern infrastructural facilities are provided, which are quite necessary for effective and efficient industrialization. In fact, we will focus on the 3 main gateways as a panacea to our industrialization drive. Education and human capacity development will continue to enjoy its pride of place, while healthcare delivery will be targeted to provide high-quality services. We will continue to encourage our people to go into farming and produce enough food for our local consumption and possibly for export. Also, we hope to create a conducive and peaceful environment through adequate provision of security and strengthening sports, tourism, and easy communication for effective recreation and relaxation while at work to boost general productivity. We believe that the implementation of the above stated programs in our completion agenda will create more jobs and employment opportunities, thus making life more meaningful and rewarding for everyone. Education. Education is the bedrock of all development across the globe. It is a pivot on which every human capital development revolves. This administration places a high premium on education and skills development and acquisition. To achieve more successes in this sector, we will continue to provide the basic facilities like libraries, review of our education curriculum, science laboratories, instructional materials, workshop equipment, etc. for distribution to our school children in public school system. Renovation and construction of more classroom and academic blocks, securing full accreditation of academic programs, ensuring effective and efficient capacity building, recruitment of teachers, payment of bursary and scholarships to our students, and providing boarding facilities to ensure a controlled and disciplined learning environment will be a continuous affair. To realize these objectives in education, the 2020 budget earmarks for education only 11.45 billion naira. Science and technology. In today's world, the knowledge of science and tech, as well as information and communication technology, constitute the basic ingredients for industrial breakthroughs, socio-economic development and growth, as well as job creation, wealth creation, community development and advancement in human conditions at all levels. Government will continue to foster development in this area through the following: establishment of research and development laboratory, technology workshop, provision of human resources in science, engineering and technology, promotion of ICT programs and activities, establishment of self-city project which aims at assisting crime detection in the state, maintenance of the e-library project and updating of facilities and equipment for continuous functioning of that library. To meet these needs, 2020 budget proposed the sum of 1 billion naira to achieve those upgrades. Agriculture. Agriculture plays a critical role in the socio-economic and industrial development of Akwa Ibom State and the nation at large. This administration places a premium on the growth and development of agriculture to enhance food security and provide raw materials for industrial use and exports, job and wealth creation, as well as improve revenue generation to the government. In 2020, government intends to carry out the following agricultural programs and projects: agro-meteorological projects, commercial cattle development projects, cocoyam avocado pear production project, bamboo development program, integrated farmer scheme, women agro-entrepreneurship development program, cassava development program, animal feed safety and certification program, rural access and agricultural marketing project, RAM, maize development program, rice development project, agrochemical supply, special tree crops production and maintenance scheme, Akwa Ibom agricultural development program, horticulture development program, precision farming, coconut plantation and oil refinery project, fish farm expert, veterinary public health care system, piggery development project, livestock investigation and breeding, aquaculture and fisheries sector development, activities of food and nutrition, agri-information, farmers education and agri-resources survey, animal feed and certification program, livestock extension education and advisory program, community plantation development program. For all these and many more, a total sum of 12.37 billion naira had been proposed in the 2020 budget for agri-sector, lands, housing and urban development. All over the world, the basic economic needs of man remain food, shelter and clothing. Government will take care of the food needs of our people through viable agricultural programs as initiated above and projects, and the clothing needs through manufacturing and craft, while the shelter needs will be provided through building subsidized houses. In this regard, government intends to partner with high-level housing development experts through public-private partnerships to construct affordable and very low-density houses and estates for those in low and middle-income bracket, as well as a unity luxury estate for those in high-income bracket. Other activities to be earmarked in this subsector include the completion of the Ibom International Airport. Ibom Tropicana Entertainment Center is going to be leased to an investor who will now develop under public-private partnership. The 4 points by Sheraton in Ikorebere, as of today, had been almost 98% complete. We inherited that hotel at 64% completion level. We've incorporated an SPV who had now applied and sat with Sheraton by 4 points to negotiate the name. We paid a whole lot of money for the management and provided so many other facilities in that hotel. Today, we can boldly say we've invested so much and we're up to 98% completion of that 4 points by Sheraton hotel. Our International Worship Center, completion of the 21-story building to provide office space for high-target investors and multinational companies. A whole lot of multinational companies, IOCs, have also come to inspect the building because we've advertised that building as one of the most intelligent office space that you can have in this country today. So many have indicated interest. That also will boost the activities of the economy of this state. Also, to receive government's attention, are the State Secretariat Phase 3, which would house a number of MDAs that are still located in rented apartments and causing government to spend so much on payment of rent, residential quarters for legislators, and possibly also for judges. Relocation of the federal prison and police barracks from Wellington Bastard Way is also under our consideration. Renovation of government buildings, etc., especially the Secretariat. Government will also continue the beautification and creation of open spaces and development to actually make sure these are usable spaces. For all these programs, a total sum of 53.637 billion is proposed in 2020 budget. Rural development. Government will ensure that rural dwellers are comfortable by opening up more rural communities through the provision of basic social and economic infrastructures. I've talked about Power for All by 2021, so our rural electrification, mini water schemes, and the rest will take care of this comfortable living in the rural areas. The sum of 0.7 billion naira has been estimated for this project in 2020 budget. Environment and mineral resources. A decent environment is needed ingredient for a healthy living. Therefore, this administration will continue to pay great attention to safeguarding and maintaining a clean environment through putting in place an effective waste management system mechanism and sound flood control measures in the affected areas. In fact, the flood control in IBB way is our target in our 2020 flood control programs. The programs to be undertaken in this sector will be that we construct drainage facilities within the capital city. We have said so with particular reference to the Secretariat, and that will also take care of IDB with statewide coastal and gully erosion control in primary and secondary schools, flood control projects, purchase of waste management equipment and urban refuse disposal program, forest regeneration, exploration of solid minerals, strengthening of weather and climate information systems. To fund these programs, a total sum of 2.7 billion naira has been provided in 2020 budget for this subsector. Investment, commerce, and industry. Investment and commerce are major contributors to economic growth and development. Input investment and commerce fuel economic growth, while outputs and outcomes and the volume of investment and commerce are significant indices of economic development. The major aspects of the state's interest in investment and commerce are in agriculture, manufacturing, construction, real estate, mining, energy, and social services. As a major policy framework, the state has put a measure in place to encourage major conglomerates, core investors, and professional service providers, banks, finance houses, and servicing companies for major multinationals to create regional and zonal offices and major production distribution hubs in the state. This will mitigate capital flight, create jobs, and grow the economy of our state. The industrialization drive of this administration has yielded fruits in a number of jobs and amount of wealth created. Government will provide funding for some activities to gain and design and develop industrial estates, parks, including the upgrading of facilities in Uyo Phase 2 Industrial Park, organizing export awareness campaign and forum in a bid to promote non-oil export and de-emphasize dependence on oil and foreign exchange. We will also promote micro and small-scale enterprises development programs, encouragement of industrial research and inspectorate services to facilitate the development of enabling laws and legislation. To carry out these programs, a total sum of 6 billion naira has been provided in the budget for investment, commerce, and industries. Culture and tourism. Tourism remains one of the greatest revenue earners in the world today. Therefore, to boost tourism and increase revenue generation, government will undertake the following activities. We will do expansion work and total renovation of Ibom 5-star hotel and golf resorts. Completion of the multi-million naira Ibom Tropicana Entertainment Center through public-private initiative. It is not the duty of government to run such centers, but private sector. So we are negotiating with private sector to actually take over and then run that place the way it's done all over the world. sponsorship of the state arts and culture too, to different festivals in foreign countries, to expose them to how revenue could be gained on whatsoever you do. Sponsorship of children's culture too. Provision of enabling environment for private ownership of over 50 standard hotels as of today in Uyo, the state capital. We intend to spend well over 1.1 billion on this for continuous achievement. Health. This government considers healthcare to be the absolute right of every individual, and therefore aims at the reduction and possible eradication of morbidity and mortality from communicable and non-communicable diseases. We therefore continue the rehabilitation of our health institutions and the provision. Government will continue to support healthcare sector to provide qualitative healthcare services to the people of the state. This will be done by continuing rehabilitation of health facilities, procurement and distribution of equipment to health institutions, provision of medical emergency response services, construction of the state public health laboratory, procurement of incinerators and specialized truck for biomedical waste, provision for immunization program, HIV and malaria treatment, restructuring of emergency program centers in the state and others. For all programs and projects in this subsector, the government intends to spend 4.6 billion naira in 2020. Roads, works, transport. The importance and necessity of good roads and efficient transportation system cannot be overstressed. That's why this administration had made sure we go around all the 3 senatorial districts impacting on road infrastructure. It is a major attraction to investors that you have infrastructure in your state. To this end, this administration has embarked on massive construction, rehabilitation, roads, bridges, improvement, maintenance of standard urban electricity supply and installation and rehabilitation of street lights along major roads and streets. The transport subsector has ensured that there is free traffic flow in Uyo and biometrics data capture of owners and operators of vehicles and tricycles in the state, operating successfully. In 2020, government will focus on the completion of the ongoing projects and maintenance of existing infrastructure. We are also trying to map the state, especially the capital city, for bus stops so that it can also ease free flow of traffic. To cater for these crucial needs, the sum of 115.801 billion naira is estimated in our 2020 budget. Aviation development. In June this year, Udom Air, the pride of Akwa Ibom state, anywhere, anytime in the world, the only state-owned and operated airline, commenced full commercial operations. Today, a mere 4 months later, Udom Air is the pride of this state and the nation at large. We hope to increase our fleet and expand our routes, thus helping to attract more investors and tourism to our state. Information, sports, and social development. Information management and sensitization of the people on the policies and programs of this government is important. Government intends to build on the gains already made by continued provision of basic information and communication infrastructure to enable media professionals operate optimally. Sporting activities will continue to receive a boost through maintenance of existing infrastructure. Government will continue to promote the development and protection of women, children, and elderly. Government believes in a peaceful labor and industrial atmosphere in the state, and so will endeavor to keep the friendly pact intact. Cooperative activities and development will continue to be vigorously pursued to help our people undertake meaningful economic activities for their mutual benefit. Government also intends to carry out tax awareness and enlightenment programs, campaigns in order to enhance higher productivity. Also, it is the desire of this government to ensure prompt settlement of inter and intrastate boundary and land dispute for peaceful coexistence of border communities, and to give attention to effective disaster management system in the state. The sum of 8.191 billion naira has been voted for this sector in 2020 budget. Justice. Nations and states use laws and instruments to bring about conducive and enabling environment necessary for development and good governance. The state legal system has, over the years, provided prompt service delivery in its dispensation of justice. It has been facilitating and upholding respect for human rights, and has been ensuring that the state operate under the rule of law. This administration will continue to support the judiciary to provide prompt and effective legal services to the government and people of Akwa Ibom State. This will be done through provision of resources and the execution of the following programs and activities: review, reforms of obsolete laws, prompt prosecution of criminal and civil cases, prompt and accurate drafting of relevant bills, preparation of memoranda of understanding, agreements, and other legal documents for the state government and its MDAs, administration of estate and public trusteeship, provision of books for the furnishing of law libraries, criminal forensic investigation and evidence gathering, establishment of 2 area offices of Center for Alternative Dispute Resolution in Eket and Equal Economic Senatorial District, construction and renovation of judges and magistrate quarters, construction of a high court complex to accommodate high courts, magistrate court, administrative blocks, health center like the one we just commissioned today, and recreational grounds. The sum of 2.645 billion has been proposed for this subsector in 2020 budget. Security. I believe that the first duty of every government in the social contract which binds the government to the governed is the protection of lives and property. With the rising wave of terrorism and cyber crimes, government is obliged to rise to these challenges with greater commitment, inflexible resolve, and unbridled vigilance. These attributes, which underpin our security consciousness, has caused Akwa Ibom State to enjoy peace and security and to stand out as an oasis of peace in a desert of tumult. We will maintain at all costs these parameters of security and peace so that the state can remain a destination of choice for potential investors to come in and invest. Consequently, this will lead to employment generation, poverty reduction, and wealth creation for the people. These are the major desires of this administration, and government has achieved much in this area and will continue to do more. We will continue to tackle any act of insecurity in the state by supporting and working closely with the security agencies to maintain the peace and security of our people. The public and civil service. The public and civil service is the hub on which government activities revolve to create desirable society for all. It therefore requires keen attention to make it work optimally. On this note, government will continue to ensure prompt promotion, payment of salaries, pensions, gratuities of workers in the public service, as well as providing appropriate training and retraining in line with our policy of human capacity development, thereby making the public service efficient and effective to meet the challenges of good government. The executive, House of Assembly, and judiciary relationship. The Holy Scripture asserts, I quote, "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore." Unquote. The cordial relationship among the 3 arms of government in Akwa Ibom State account for the tremendous blessings of social, economic development, peace, and growth that have come upon the state in the past years. We will continue to work hand in hand in unity and in pursuit of our common interests of our people. At the same time, we will bear in mind the constitutional boundaries of the principle of separation of powers amongst the 3 arms of government. The executive will always work together with the legislature and the judiciary arms to deliver good governance to the good people of Akwa Ibom State. I conclude. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, I thank you for your time and your attention. The 2020 budget is designed as a key milestone in actualizing our completion agenda, an agenda fashioned to helping us position Akwa Ibom State as a tourist and industrial destination. As always, we intend to work in partnership with the private sector. We believe that the full and proper implementation of the provisions of this budget would ensure for us a society that is self-reliant and less dependent on statutory allocation from the center. Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members of this hallowed house, this government's bold steps taken to invest in security infrastructure and industrial development have set the stage for faster and sustained economic growth and development in the state. The 2020 budget aims to support areas that will deliver inclusive growth and massive employment opportunities, such as the construction of Ibom Deep Seaport and the airport projects, purchase of more airplanes, Ibom Airlines completion of all the projects that we've mentioned. We would not have achieved so much during the first term and even in this first year of our second term without the help of the Almighty God, our only God. Despite our lean and dwindling resources, His grace has made it possible for us to attain this level of excellent performance, which has been nationally acclaimed, internationally applauded. We rejoice in God's grace and kindness to us as individuals and as a state. It is through His guidance that the completion, mandate, and agenda will be prudently implemented to achieve the goals of making Akwa Ibom greater and a source of pride to our people, and show the world that certain things long thought to be impossible can be made possible if the passion is right. I therefore crave your speedy approval of these 2020 budget proposals and your support for its implementation. We promise to faithfully implement the provisions of the budget for the general good and well-being of our people. The relevant details will be provided by the Honorable Commissioner for Finance. Once again, I salute you, Mr. Speaker, principal officers, and indeed the honorable members of the 7th Assembly, and the good people of Akwa Ibom State for your incredible support and goodwill given to this administration since we assumed office. We remain committed to the cause all rise together in unison, propelled by our common good and excellence, and tell the world that Akwa Ibom spirit is rising and soaring, and together we will build a society where our children will be proud to call their home. That is the legacy we owe them, and we cannot fail. Let me end this address by reaffirming our avowed commitment to serving an Akwa Ibom people, indeed and in truth, as we all join hands to work tirelessly towards improving the living standards of our people. To this end, we cannot afford to fail. It is well with Akwa Ibom State. It is well with Nigeria. It is well with us all. Thank you and God bless you. Akwa Ibom, Takada.